Community is everything. We're proud to support ours. Through partnerships with fellow community leaders and organizations, we're helping our neighbors access essential resources and services so we can all thrive. Learn more at bofA.com/community.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, need a little coffee here, I think. So it is so great to be here. This is such an important conversation. I know those of us who have lived and worked here our entire lives know how important this is to increase the population, lure more businesses and everything else like that. But Mr. County Executive, how you doing and how are things in Wayne?
I'm doing fine. I think things are doing very well in Wayne County, certainly fiscally, but I think we've kind of weathered the storm of COVID the right way, which is supporting our small businesses, supporting those workers who needed our help. And I think we'd be in a far different situation if we hadn't done that a couple of years ago. So I think we made some wise moves.
You have come an incredibly long way. Those of us remember when you first came into the job, the county was in dire financial circumstances, this close teetering to bankruptcy. And you've, over these last 2-3 terms now, you've got a AAA bond rating and you're supporting small businesses and residents during these challenging times through the pandemic and everything like that. But talk about what it is about Wayne and the core strengths of what it offers here.
Yeah, I think one of the strongest things about Wayne County is really its diversity in every area. Certainly its diversity of people. If you Arab American populations in Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, African American populations, other places, you know, your white populations, even though there are no really lily white communities, thank God. But I mean, we have 43 communities in Wayne County, and I think there's it's nice to have the variations that we have, not just the variations ethnically, but housing market and amenities and other sorts of things that I think are all critically important to making this a place people want to come.
You've been part of this conversation for a long time. You've been a public servant for many years. You're hearing things being talked about here, and obviously we want to increase, having more young people stay here, young people, other places move here and so forth and so on. Is there a part of this conversation or something that we're not talking about in this to try to help, the bottom line of having a stronger community type thing?
Yeah, I think there is, and that is that we have to admit in this county there's a significant underclass of people who have historically not been employed or employable, and the number's significant, and until we do the things necessary to get those people into the workforce and the market, workforce development, housing, mental health, substance abuse issues, whatever, because the idea that these are people who don't want to work is ridiculous. These are people who want to work, but basically, quite frankly, the system has indicated to them over the years that we really don't want them.
As county executive, what can you really do to help with that? I mean, there's 3 county executives, you've got the mayor of Detroit, you have people here and the governor, everybody here. How much control do you really have at changing that particular element?
Directly, not a lot, but I think one of the great things about the region now is the county executives all talk to each other, work with each other, and we know areas, if we're divergent, we know what they are and try to work with them. There's always got to be in government more collaboration. Dr. Espy, I think, just left a few minutes ago talking about Wayne State University. We've met a number of times. Whether I'm the shot caller or not is really not the issue. The issue is, can we identify problems that are impacting all of us? Education, housing, and can we start the process of lobbying each other to understand what changes need to occur and why? And I think, we're doing well with that. It is very frustrating when, for example, education is such an important issue, but in Wayne County, you got 33 school districts, 550 schools. I mean, 33 school districts means you got 33 leaders.
Is it a matter of resources?
No. I mean, if you listen to what I heard John McCulta say the other day, it's efficiencies of scale and ways to save money, create a better product without raising taxes, because as we're trying to go this way, tax increases are only going to bring it back.
You're part of the region's big four political leaders, the 3 county executives and the mayor. I don't know how often you get together, but have you talked about this whole issue of helping to boost the region, the community in terms of this, making it more attractive? I mean, is this something when you do get together?
Sure, and I know what you're saying. Do we try to sit down and figure that out? Each county is so different. What we try to do is make sure that we're philosophically attuned to the direction that we ought to go, and then leave that alone. We talk to each other regularly. Yeah. When you say regularly, we don't talk every week, we don't talk every 2 weeks, but we do call each other. Oftentimes it's item specific.
Yeah.
But we'll see each other at events and talk through issues. And I think, I've been around, I hate to say it, but I've been around Wayne County for 52 years. I've never seen the level of collaboration and the level of accepting a regional point of view, not just talking about it. We've been talking about it for 30 years. Oh, the region. But Macomb was its region, Oakland was its region, Wayne was its region. Now we do see it as a region. We all like to cherry pick, but not to the point of hurting the others.
One conversation that has come up often in terms of having, I know if Claude Molinari's here somewhere, I don't know if he is or isn't, but in getting big ticket sporting events here and getting big conventions here, they talk about hotel space, which is being addressed, but regional transit, which has been an age-old issue. The Chamber has been a proponent of talking about what to do about that. How do you view regional transit in our region? And this matters to millennials and other young people. Hard to believe, but a lot of them don't want cars. But in general, making this a easier to get around place with public transit. Yeah,
and we do need to do that. I think we need to get it out of our heads that we want to build light rail or the things that have a tremendous infrastructure cost. And just understand that Oakland and Macomb do pretty well with SMART, which is an efficient system. Wayne County has a number of communities that have opted out, and so we don't have transportation system in Wayne County, and I think SMART's the way to go.
Right.
We spend money on workforce development, we spend money on health care, we spend money on a number of things that we think will make life better for people, and then we don't have a process for them to get there. And it just doesn't make sense.
What are you going to do about that? I mean, you've got these opt-out communities. Are you planning to go out to them and try to bring them in the fold? How easy will that be?
It will not be easy at all. But we've got to make it happen some kind of way. So there's going to be a lot of arm twisting. There's going to be a lot of discussions, a lot of figuring out what can we bring to a certain community of value, say maybe with senior transportation, that will allow them to hold their nose and say, okay, we'll do the other part. That's the reality of it.
You have the long view and have seen the region, the city, the county, with the ups and downs that have happened over the decades you've been there, and obviously even before then from living here. When you hear about things like the state's doing a You Can in Michigan campaign, a marketing campaign to try to bring in more businesses and bringing more young people here and so forth, are you a supporter of doing that kind of outreach?
Yeah, I'm a supporter of the outreach. I just think that we've got some core things to do before we try to attract additional people. If we create a more livable environment, recreation, travel, transportation, those sorts of things, and I said it once and I'll say it again, that underclass population that we have that's just out there, until we can bring something substantive to make life better for them and therefore for us. It's not about making life better for them. Who wants to carry hundreds of thousands of people, whatever the real number is, with no idea about doing anything but giving lip service to, well, we're trying to help them. Well, what we're doing is not helping them.
What one or two things would you do? If I were to say, here's one or two things, you can wave a magic wand and it'll instantly be implemented to help make conditions here better in that.
It's almost like we have to have a concierge service, that there's so many people who are not working now, that are not working because they were called into job fairs, they were called to other places and never got past first base. I mean, it's a lot of talk, come down here. You do that 2 or 3 times and you never get the job, then someone comes along with another idea to say, let's try to do it this way, but nobody shows up. They don't show up because they believe it's the same old. But on the healthcare side too, you know, there's mental health issues, and mental health issues shouldn't keep you out of the opportunity to work. Certainly there's an investment that needs to go there, and it's not a cheap investment. So, you know, we've got, you know, returning citizens that we got to do more with, and a number of folks, so that we can get them in the workforce. Will they all get into the workforce? No. But we need to do a lot better than we're doing now. And that, I think, we need to do before we worry about the importation of others.
How optimistic do you feel about all the things, the conversations we're having here? If we keep doing what we've been doing, how optimistic are you that conditions will improve?
I think they're going to improve because we're not really doing just what we always did. We're improving in a number of areas, but I don't know that the synergies that they're meshing together well. I mean, I've looked at something the other day that had workforce development programs. There were so many programs on that sheet that you'll notice, you know, who knows who to go call what where, and how is the information getting to them? You know, 30 years ago, you'd look in the Free Press for a job or the news, and that was your place. Everything would be there that was going to be available at the time. Now with social media and things, you really don't know. You send a lot of stuff out, you don't know who gets it,
so you think it needs to be better coordination between this. So is that part of the big solution here, to be a clearinghouse, have it better coordinated so people know who's doing what, that kind of thing?
I absolutely think so. There are a number of projects that will be talked about here today that I could be helpful with in terms of at least giving a perspective, and don't ever get called about it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I'm trying not to take it personally, but I think we don't really see how you connect with this. Well, that's part of the problem. You don't see. You ought to talk to us and then see if what we say makes sense. If it doesn't, you know, then it doesn't. But that's a coordination issue, and it's, you know, and as, you know, one of the, you know, kind of highest ranking, I guess you would say, African-American leaders, it would seem to me that if you have issues about and the African-American population, and particularly that small part of the population that's been passed over and left and lost, and I won't say that's a small part of the population. I'm not trying to make that a major issue. You might want to hear what I had to say about it, and then if you want to dismiss it, dismiss it. What I'm pissed about is you don't even bring it up. You don't even see that an audience there should be, you know, should be. So
your number is listed and posted and you're available. Well, let me call you up now to ask a question inquiring minds are wondering about. Let's talk about your own personal future right now and what may lay ahead for you as far as what you're doing or what you may aspire to do differently. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be the best county executive that I can be, and I still think there's room for me to move north in that regards. I kind of know what you're talking about, Carol, so I will tell
Everybody
you.
in the room knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So.
I'm still weighing options, looking at things, but at the end of the day, my decision will be based on what I think is best for everybody, not what would be the most exciting or best to me. Not that anything else would be more exciting than being the county executive of Wayne. So I mean, that really is it. I haven't made any decisions about anything. I understand the governor's only got 2 more years.
I'm going to leave
Laugh.
Man, that's called deaf silence. So my last question to you is this. What's it like having your name on a building on an airport? Your name is on the terminal, which is good when the terminal's working, but with construction and everything coming up, they're going to be using your name in vain.
It's humbling, but I will tell you this, it's a lot better than having your name on a jail.
With that, Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, you summed it up so nicely. You left them laughing. And you know what? I think they're going to call you after this, you know? Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Community is everything. We're proud to support ours. Through partnerships with fellow community leaders and organizations, we're helping our neighbors access essential resources and services so we can all thrive. Learn more at bofA.com/community.